It was Cam's second game with 5 pass TDs in the last 3 weeks. With their 41-38 win over the Saints, the Panthers are now 12-0, and Carolina native Steph Curry tweeted this. So, did the Panthers win? Yup. Cam show why he's MVP? Yup. 12-0? Yup. Hashtag keep pounding? Yup. He's having quite a season. His team, right? And his football team. Eric, is Cam the MVP now?
Right now, if we were voting, there's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. If we were voting right now today, what did we learn? We learned that when an undefeated team is not at their level best, you don't have the great running game you can rely on, that outstanding defense to shut you down, and you need to continue to battle one of the all-time greats in Drew Brees, you're going to need a quarterback to throw some touchdowns. You're going to need a quarterback to win from inside the pocket. And Cam Newton, great stature, he did it all. And that's what we learned. He elevated his game. It's not just, hey, you know what, read option guy, I'll throw the ball to the tight end. You know what? He's making players around him better. And I think that's the issue, and that's the last question for me. It was about, can he outplay the game plan? Can he make players around him better? I mean, Greg Olsen's an outstanding tight end, but receiving core, you got Ted Ginn, you have some other guys. He made those guys better. When there were drops and passing opportunities, it wasn't because of him, it was because of the receivers. So Cam Newton playing at a very, very high level, got 25 touchdowns up to 10 picks, almost 500 yards rushing, so he separates himself from the quarterback category as far as that is concerned, almost averaging 5 yards a carry. So him and Stewart doing it, running the football, and then, of course, he can continue to make those great drives at the end of games when you need it. Love the accuracy, love the ability to be able to win from inside the pocket. Right now, it's Cam Newton's league.
Go ahead, Skip.
No, you go. I want to hear this. You agree with everything he just said?
I really do.
Seriously?
Oh, seriously.
Yeah.
The numbers
You have no doubt? Go, I'm sorry.
The numbers that Brady is putting forth is obviously better. And what Brady has been forced to work with as the season has progressed is undoubtedly so. We understand that. Deion Lewis went out earlier in the year. On the defensive side of the ball, you got the Jamie Collins, the Dante Hightowers of the world that have been injured. Ultimately, Julian Edelman went down on the offensive side of the ball. Ultimately, Rob Gronkowski went out down on the side on the other side of the ball. We get all of that, but that's why they have 2 losses now. Cam doesn't have any. And when Kelvin Benjamin went down, Cam Newton walked into this season, and let's face reality, we were all wondering how the Carolina Panthers were going to win 7 or 8 games. That's what we were wondering. I thought Atlanta was going to win the division because I'm saying all you have is Greg Olsen because I knew that as electrifying as Ted Ginn Jr. was, and he can play, the brother can't catch. You can't rely on him.
He struggles a little bit.
Listen, he struggles a lot.
In that
now,
category.
he will score a touchdown or 2 for you, but you can almost book that he's going to drop. If it were not for Carolina's defense, okay, there's a few games they would have lost because Ted Ginn dropped passes from Cam Newton. I mean, Cam Newton, I'm not talking about, I mean, this, Skip, people drop passes. Like, I remember you called out, you know, whether it's an Amendola or somebody, that, you know, they're lunging for a ball and they should have caught it because it touched their hands, and but they flying through the air. Ted Ginn is in stride, and the ball is hitting him right here. It's going through it, it's bobbled, it's dropped. You just see players just looking. It's like you see him sitting up there, and, you know, Lord, he's going to have to go see a dentist because he's grinding his teeth because he's trying to hold back from cursing his own self out because of them damn drop passes that he's. I mean, it's ridiculous that he drops as many passes as he drops. And I know the kid is the speed, his ability to get open. It's impressive, but my God, you've got to catch the ball, for crying out loud. So I look at that, and I'm like, and D'Angelo Williams, and what he's doing in Pittsburgh, he's not in Carolina anymore. Not saying that Jonathan Stewart's still there.
I think Jonathan Stewart's pretty good.
No, I'm saying, but it was a 1-2 punch, and now you got just Jonathan Stewart. And so I'm looking at Cam, all you really had coming into the year was Jonathan Stewart and Greg Olsen. And somehow, some way, he's finding ways to win. Pressurized moments, Skips, when it counts in the fourth quarter is when he appears to be at his best, and they are undefeated. I look at it from that perspective, the load that he has to carry, which I think is equitable to what Tom Brady has to carry offensively. and they're unblemished. And I can't. A couple of weeks ago, I was like, Brady by a smidgen.
Yeah, me too.
I can't do it now. I have to give it to Cam Newton. If it's still 4 games to go.
Right.
It's still 4. But if you had to ask me today, if I had to sit there and I had to vote today, Cam Newton would get my vote for NFL MVP.
Okay, I will acknowledge to both of you, Cam Newton is in the midst of a sensational breakout season. But I also got to tell you that outside of Patriots Nation, there's a whole lot of Patriot hate out there. And I think the world outside Patriot Nation was waiting for the smallest excuse to elevate Cam above Brady. And they got it with 2 losses, one at Denver, in which, by the way, New England led 21-7 early in the 4th quarter and was about to get the ball back when an undrafted rookie free agent, I won't even say his name because he's now cut. He's no longer with the team. Muffs a punt. Remember that? That was the turning point in that game. And obviously then Gronk with 2:35 left in that game got hurt. And I will remind you that yesterday at home, Tom Brady threw 2 touchdown passes to put them up 14-0 before all hell broke loose with all the gift turnovers. And we talked about that in the last topic.
Okay.
To me, Tom Brady is still miles ahead of Cam Newton because it is extraordinary what he has done from start to finish this year. It is not extraordinary what Cam has done from start to finish. If you want me to pick apart his games, his earlier games where they were barely beating those NFC South foes, his schedule has not been that tough, I got to tell you, compared to the Patriots schedule. Now, let's look back at what's going on here with Tom Brady. He continues to operate behind the least experienced, most decimated offensive line in football. It's not even close. I don't know how he does it. They lost another starter, Josh Klein, yesterday. I don't know what's going to happen to him. Obviously, we all know about weapon after weapon after weapon has been lost. Yeah. So now let's look at what he's pulled off. Remember, at Bills early, that game 2, against Rex's defense up there in Orchard Park, he threw for 466, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Against the Jets defense, albeit in Foxborough, 355, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Those are 2 very good defenses. And then against your Giants, I know the defense isn't very good, but the game was hot and heavy all the way to the last drop. He threw for 334, and remember the 4th and long he converted to keep the classic final drive alive? And then at Denver, let's talk about at Denver. Remember the last gasp drive that he pulled off with less than a minute left when they let the clock run from 40 seconds down to 10 seconds? Throwing to Brandon LaFell and Scott Chandler, he pulls off a tying field goal drive that was as classic a Brady clutch drive as I have ever seen. I don't know how he did it. And then yesterday, he still threw for 312 against the Eagles. And in the end, as we all agreed in our opening topic, he threw 4 passes in the last series that I thought should have been caught, and maybe the first one for a touchdown to Brandon LaFell. So I look at what he has 31 touchdowns, which leads the National Football League, only 6 interceptions. On percentage of interceptions to touchdowns, that ranks second only to Alex Smith, who has only 14 touchdown passes to 3 interceptions. So Alex doesn't do that, but 31-6, and he's thrown for the most yards in the National Football League. What more do you want from a guy? That's MVP all over.
Here's my problem with your argument. The things that you're saying he did, one could argue Cam has done.
Lately, he's been great in the 4th quarter. Is that what you mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is that you have your heroic moments by Tom Brady. We have ours about Cam Newton. Yeah. You have Bill Belichick and a system that has been in place where continuity matters and the weapons, because Rob Gronkowski just got hurt. Julian Edelman's been out a few weeks now. Amendola, the same thing. But by and large, for this 10-2 start, for the vast majority of that, they have been in attendance, in uniform, playing. You also have to take into account the fact that even though Carolina has won their division for the 3rd consecutive year, last year they went to the playoffs at 7-8-1. And there were questions about the legitimacy of Ron Rivera, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, because we all know that the man knows defense, he knows the locker room, apparently he has motivational skills and whatever, but he has never been mistaken for Bill Belichick is.
Right.
So because of that, all of those things taken into consideration, to witness what Cam Newton has done under pressure in the 4th quarter with guys that he had available to them, because Greg Olsen is no Rob Gronkowski.
Right.
Kelvin Benjamin is no Junior.
Greg Olsen is pretty great.
Yeah, he is.
Listen. He's a friend of the show. He's very good. Nobody's knocking him, but he's a tight end. Your receivers has been this dude Funches, along with Ted Ginn Jr.
And Cotry was
Cotry,
old, but older. You know, Jet. He was. It was
He's
a long time
making
ago.
them better.
It was a long time ago when he was with the Jets and he was with the Steelers. Now he's with Carolina. We respect him. He's no scrub. But I'm just saying, the requisite weapons combined with the system, combined with Tom Brady being that dude, all those things taken into consideration. Yet we sit up here today and there is one undefeated team in the National Football League, and that would happen to be
that drive in Seattle when he hits the post.
But everybody's been doing that to Seattle. They've blown what 5 fourth-quarter leads this year.
All I'm saying,
that's a
he was one of them.
fourth-quarter comeback. And we're not saying Tom Brady's not the man. He's the man, but just not right now.
That comeback yesterday was a joy to watch, but it came, and you guys are leaping to conclusions here, off a game against the worst by far defense in the National Football League, the New Orleans Saints. Okay, and they barely beat the Saints the first time in Carolina. Josh Norman had to intercept a pass in the end zone that looked like it had touchdown written all over it and game winner, right? So, and I remind you, within the comeback yesterday, Cam, and I don't think we have this play geared up, so forgive me for this, control room and Brian, but his little flip on fourth down to Greg Olsen, I thought that it hit the carpet. I wouldn't have given that to him because the nose of the ball hit the carpet even though he got his hands on it. So I don't think that the comeback should have been a comeback. I think it should have ended right there.
You can control the ball. I can still hit the carpet,
I know, but it
as
looked
long
like
as you
he
control
used the
it.
carpet to catch the ball. That's what it looked like to me. Cam sort of short-armed it and flipped it, you know, the little toss.
Yeah, the little pass, little basketball pass. One from one MVP to, you know, like another,
maybe
like
another.
Steph.
Yeah, that's just me.
Cam versus Brady, it's heating up. Eric, thanks so much for being with us. It was fun as always. Monday we'll do this again, and it'll be a different scenario, I'm sure.
You need to move out of the city of San Diego.
You know what?
I'm
thinking about that.
Why?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that.
They look so bad.
San Diego State, the Aztecs got a big win against Air Force, though. So
That's
I'm
all
going to
that
just.
matters.
Listen, they look
You got the best weather in the country.
The San Diego Chargers look so bad.
They're bad.
People should think about relocating.
The people should relocate, not the team. You're saying?
No,
team is.
I'm saying the people should abandon the team and leave the team there.
No.
All right, we got to save that.